and we have Chris Brentel joining us. We won't talk about Ebola for half the sports break this hour. I promise. And
it took a turn last hour.
Well, it certainly did. It certainly did, and that's all right. I mean, it's all right to get a little bit off track sometimes. It certainly helps break up the day a little bit. So last night the second one-game playoff took place. I know Pittsburgh Pirates fans were excited. Their drought in the playoffs was something 15, 20 years, something like that, right? I mean, it wasn't quite where the Royals were, but they'd had a few years since they'd had postseason hopes. They got crushed last night.
Yeah, it wasn't even a game.
Well, and the Giants, of course. I mean, they've won. They've won World Series recently. I mean, they're obviously a perennial contender. Now that we have the actual the divisional playoff setup, I mean, who are your picks? I mean, well, let's just go over the matchups real quick, just for those that don't know. I mean, hopefully you have them memorized because I don't.
Well, I know. Of course, I know the Royals are at the Angels for 5. Well, it might be. It could be 3. You never know. But they're going to be at the Angels. You have the Giants at the Nationals in the National League. And then the other series is Baltimore, Detroit, and the other one's a tough one. I think I forgot. Oh, Dodgers and Cardinals.
Okay, so
we'll start Dodgers and Cardinals. We'll just go series. That fine?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, and again, I've openly admitted that I don't follow baseball until the postseason. So maybe this will be a good lesson for me.
The Dodgers, I think, are going to win that series because they have a better rotation. So Dodgers will move on. The other National League series, Giants, Nationals. The Giants are going to keep the series close. They have experience in the postseason. The Nationals don't. But I think the Nationals are just playing better. They're a better team even though they're younger, so I'm saying Nationals in 5. So Dodgers, Nationals, they'll play a 7-game series. This is a tough one.
Well, now the Nationals had the best league in the National League during the regular season,
yes.
Right? Yeah, okay.
I think the Dodgers veterans will propel them to the World Series. So I'm picking the Dodgers for the National League to get in. Royals, Angels, I'm going Angels in 5.
Really?
Yeah. I think they'll split in L.A., split in Kansas City, and then Game 5 will be in L.A., and the Angels will win that one. Probably it's going to be a close series because the Royals do have a good rotation. And then the other series, Baltimore-Detroit, to me, this is the toughest one. But I'm going to go with Detroit. Detroit wins the series, so Detroit-L.A., I think L.A. is the team to beat in this whole thing. I have them in the World Series, so it's the L.A. World Series. So, Angels, Dodgers.
Well, now, the one thing, and this is just this is not even baseball related, other than the Angels are involved. At what point did the Angels become the L.A. Angels of Anaheim? I mean, that's got to be the worst name in all of sports. I mean, that's worse than the Canadian Football League having 2 teams called the Rough Riders.
It's unbelievable, and they don't need to do it. Just keep it Anaheim, so you have a distinct.
Yeah. Or
you could have had it as California, like they did back in the day.
And I kind of like that because Anaheim isn't that close to L.A. I don't know. Have you ever been to L.A.? I mean,
I have. I've been to Anaheim.
It's at least an hour drive.
Yeah, it's a ways away.
I mean, an hour without traffic. I mean, it's a good 50 miles. Anaheim is Orange County. It's not even L.A. I mean, it's not even L.A. County. So.
Kind of never understood why the Clippers didn't start playing their games in Anaheim. They have an arena there.
And
Anaheim Clippers, I think, has a ring to it.
I think the Clippers like the idea of sharing the arena, just because it's downtown. They kind of get some overflow from, at least back in the day. I mean, back in the day when the Clippers weren't good. They got overflow Lakers fans. If you couldn't get Lakers tickets, which at one point it was probably tough to get Lakers tickets, you would probably buy Clippers tickets. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, they're probably cheaper. It's probably more centrally located to the majority of the population. I mean, L.A. is so spread out.
Right.
Anaheim. I mean, Anaheim's a major city in its own right. It's probably a good 500,000 people in its own right. So
So I
Either call them California or Anaheim.
exactly, yeah. Los Angeles, Anaheim is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know why. I remember the first time I ever noticed. I got a Royal schedule out. Probably, I think they changed it 6 years ago, something like that. Got a Royal schedule out. It said, let's see, Chicago White Sox. Oh, then they play LAA. What?
Who's
that?
The first time I saw that abbreviation, I hadn't even known that I guess they changed it 3-4 years ago, something like that. And Anaheim just is just I guess it's a hotbed of just bad team names anyway. Good teams, bad team names, because of course the Ducks used to be the Mighty Ducks, which were named after the movie, and.
I like the Ducks. I don't like the Mighty Ducks. Well, it's weird.
At one point, Disney owned the team,
that makes sense.
So they were using an NHL team. I don't know how the NHL allowed that. For one thing, other than they're probably desperate for promotion at the time, but it was a low point for the NHL. The mid '90s weren't exactly the best days. I mean, that's the days of the neutral zone trap where 1-0 games happened all the time. So. People were kind of getting a little tired of hockey, so I could see why they might have allowed Disney to get away with that awful, blatant shilling. But it just, I'm glad they changed the name back. Ducks isn't bad,
right? Mighty
Ducks, not so much.
Yeah, it's kind of, you shouldn't name any of your teams off a kids movie.
Oh, especially ones that it's a Bad News Bears ripoff.
Yeah, and what if the New York Giants named their team the New York Little Giants?
Oh,
that wouldn't be cool. No, the Little Giants.
Well, now that we're on the topic, what's the worst team name in all of sports?
Oh, I got to think about this one. Do you have one in mind?
The Angels are up there. The Mighty Ducks would have been up there, but they fixed that, so I'm not going to get on their case too much.
I'll tell you, my favorite is the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks. That's my favorite team name. I love that. That's it. It's nobody else has the name, and then I don't even know of one college team that has it. And their emblem is like this majestic buck. It's pretty cool.
Well, and that's not a bad one. Maybe the New York Red Bulls, the soccer team, because they're owned by Red Bull.
That makes sense.
Energy drink, and the stadium's called Red Bull Stadium. That's fine. They own the stadium. But call them the Bulls.
Right.
You can call them the Bulls, but to completely name the entire team, of course, soccer's kind of shameless about that stuff anyway. I mean, their jerseys have advertisements on them.
Yeah.
I mean, soccer's pretty bad. I mean, and I'm not one of those people that likes to give free advertising to like when I buy a car from a dealership, I'll take the sticker from the dealership off the car. If I'm gonna advertise something, it's gonna be something that I personally endorse.
Yeah, if I want to keep the sticker on, you might want to give me some money.
Yeah, well,
a better deal.
Well, and I mean, and if you look at my car, I have a Ravens sticker because I like the Ravens.
Right.
I'm not going to leave the car dealership sticker on it.
Yeah, it's just
So
good point. And as far as soccer is concerned, I understand the Red Bull thing, but I don't know half those team names. I'm sure there's some bad ones. I know the Sounders. I mean, how about you know what? I just thought of probably one of the worst. First off, any team with the Owls. I know there's some college teams. There's Rice, Temple. If you have the Owls as your mascot, boo to you. But the one I just thought of, the Wizards. Oh, the Washington. Oh,
well, they were
horrible.
Now they were the Baltimore Bullets, which made sense back in the day because bullet sounds fast. It's basketball team fast.
But now it's considered violent.
And they moved to Washington. At one point, Washington was the murder capital of the country.
Yeah.
So they changed it because they didn't want to be associated with that.
Plus there was a gun issue with that.
Well,
people were complaining because I think gun violence was up, and so people, there were some complaints about it. They shouldn't have changed their name. Caving to change it. Bullets is a cool name.
Yeah,
and it works for any sport really.
It symbolizes something fast, which is what basketball is supposed to be.
Or shooting somebody in the heart, which is what you want to do when you hit free throws at the end of a game.
Well, you want to
beating them execution style. That's what it symbolizes. I don't understand changing the name to a team. I don't get it.
Okay, so and bad names. You can't talk about bad names. And I had none of this planned. You can't talk about bad names without bringing up the WNBA. The WNBA.
That's too easy.
Let's go down there. There are 10 teams in the no. There are 12 teams in the WNBA. Let's just go through the WNBA. The Atlanta Dream.
Nope.
No, I assume that has something to do with Martin Luther King. I'm gonna guess.
Probably.
That's the only thing I could think of. The Chicago Sky.
That is horrible.
What I love about WNBA names is none of them are remotely anything that could possibly ever be offensive. There are no animals. So PETA doesn't get mad.
There's no fighting Irishmen.
There's no Redskins. There's no fighting Irish. No Indians. No Chiefs. No Braves. Nothing remotely offensive. Of course, that means that none of them make sense.
I think the exhibition team, they're going to name the World or something. The
geez.
Washington World. The Sky. The Sun. These names are ridiculous.
The next up is the Connecticut Sun, which, again, is Red Bull's territory because they play at Mohegan Sun. Indiana Fever. Fever's not good.
No.
Fever's bad.
I've had fevers.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
No. I mean, the Ebola, the New York Liberty. Okay, it's the Statue of Liberty. And again, it's just a generic, non-offensive name. It's not the worst of the names, but it's pretty bad. The Washington Mystics, of course, they're related to the Wizards, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So they wanted something sort of related to Wizards, but
they should have took the Bullets name.
Yeah, they should have.
That's what they should have done.
Well, they should. It would be better than the Mystics.
It would be.
The LA Sparks.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, I'm not quite sure. And I don't know how Sparks have anything to do with the city of LA.
I don't think it does. I think it's just 4th of July one day. Like, oh, Sparks. Oh, let's name our team the Sparks.
Well, here's an animal one, though. Minnesota Lynx. It's an animal.
You know what? I'll give it that it's an animal. It might be the best one, the lynx. And the lynxes are pretty cool. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Have you seen the tapes on the lynx?
It's a cool-looking cat.
It's cool, but goes around killing stuff. That cat is awesome.
Do they actually have any lynx in Minnesota, though?
I think so. I think there are lynx up there.
So at least that sort of makes sense.
So they have links to the lynx.
The Phoenix Mercury.
The Phoenix Universe.
Well,
Mercury. That might be the stupidest one.
Well, and I was thinking the poisonous metal. Not even the planet, but yeah. Okay, the San Antonio Stars. That's all right because
that's not bad.
The logo kind of looks like the Spurs, so that's all right.
And Stars works. I mean, there's a hockey team named Stars. I like that. Now it's a Texas team, Stars.
Yeah, they're not the North Stars anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, Seattle Storm. It does rain a lot.
I
Seattle.
Actually don't mind the Storm name. I don't think that's too bad.
And the Tulsa Shock. Again,
we have a ton of jokes we could say about this one, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, and again, the
Shock.
It's just awful. So I'm pretty sure the WNBA is the home of the worst name. I think the worst is probably the Indiana Fever. It's got that might be the worst name in sports. That's worse than blatant trying to sell out like the Red Bulls or the Sun. That's just.
I think Mercury is worse.
Mercury is pretty bad too.
Bad.
It's either a poisonous metal or it's a 900-degree ball of rock that nothing could possibly exist on.
When my top two are Lynx and Storm, you can't name your franchise's mascots.
Yeah,
they need to change all of well, it's really bad.
It is bad. So. What do we have?
Xenas? They should name one the Xenas, like Warrior Princess or something.
Well, the Warrior Princesses. I mean, I know it's kind of long, but
there you go.
Yeah, at least it would be something fierce and competitive, as opposed to Fever, which just makes people sick.
Yeah, the Minnesota Moms Against Drunk Driving, something like that. They could have thought of. See, we've got this. They should give us the job to pick the names.
Well, and who knows? I mean, I know the WNBA is expanding, so. Are they adding 2 teams or just 1?
You know the World is going to be one of those team names.
Oh, well.
You know it's going to be the something World.
Oh, well, yeah, because they represent everybody.
Because they represent
that's, they don't want to offend people in other cities, so it's the World.
How about White Skins?
Oh, well.
What do you think?
You could do that all day. You could do that all day because.
I'm not going to get offended.
No. nobody would actually get offended by that, even though it's probably more offensive than some of the other ones, Braves or Chiefs. So what do we have going on in sports?
We have some high school volleyball reporting.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Who needs a no-spin zone when you have a no-apology zone? Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.